마이크 테스트, 마이크 테스트. 예. 자, 안녕하세요. 지금 들어오신 분들 카메라 전부 다 좀 켜주십시오. 아, to all participants, please turn on your camera. 자, 안녕하십니까. 전 드디어 이제 전체 워크숍의 3분의 2 정도가 지나가고 있습니다. 지난 48시간 동안 너무 잘해주고 계셔서 다시 한번 감사의 말씀을 드리고 싶습니다. 어, 역시 어제도 기술적인 문제로 인해서 좀 예상치 못한 문제들이 발생했는데요. 거기에 대해서는 사과의 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 예, 어떻게 보면 이게 또 라이브에서 어려움인 것 같으면서도 좀 묘미기도 하죠. Hello everyone. We are now passing two-thirds of the whole workshop, and I'd like to thank you again for doing so well for the last 2 days. And also I apologize. There were unexpected things due to a technical problem yesterday. Uh, but I think this is the difficulty and also the funny side of the live streaming. 자, 간단하게 남은 일정에 대해서 조금 한 번 더 공지를 드리도록 하겠습니다. 내일 한국 시간 22시 밤 10시에 여러분들 제출이 끝나고 나면은 간단하게 폐회식을 진행하고요. 그리고 전체 행사가 마무리가 됩니다. 가능하면 학생분들, 튜터분들 전부 참석을 해주시면 감사하겠습니다. 어, I want to briefly tell you about the remaining schedule. After your submission tomorrow at 22 in Korean time, the whole workshop will be completed after show closing ceremony. I would appreciate it if it if all students and all tutors could attend. 자, 그리고 이제 두 번째 크리틱 시작됩니다. 방식은 어제와 동일하게 진행되고요. 관리자께서 여러분들과 튜터들 각자 소모임 방으로 배정을 할 겁니다. 어, 그러면 이제 어제 지난 시간 결과물 바탕으로 여러분들 크리틱 잘 진행하시면 되고요. 이제 하루만 지나면은 다 끝납니다. 그러니까 조금만 다들 힘내주시기 바랍니다. The second critique is now about to begin. The way how is the same as yesterday. The administrator will assign you and the tutor to own meeting room. After one day more, it's over. I wish you good luck. 자, 지금 이제 시작합니다. Thank you again, and now we start.
as a structure to connect space and space. I will put a complex culture facility where the passenger terminal was located. Half of them will be used as exhibition halls for modern and contemporary history of Busan Port. We dragged the sea into the site. The contaminated land is transformed into an ecological wetland with natural purification function through planting, remediation plants, and created an outdoor exhibition and event space using exciting structures. So this will be a tourist attraction and a historical amusement park. Furthermore, Busan will become an international port city in the future. Finish.
Oh, okay. Okay. So because I can see that could you explain a little bit more about this building?
We planned this building. We want to 강조가 뭐지? 강조하다. 한번 검색해보면 강조하다.
So this is a new building or some old building that you restored?
This is new building.
New building, okay. So what is the function of that building?
On the first floor is historical exhibition and culture and commercial store. Yes.
Okay. So and I also can see that give me a minute, that there is several facilities for the containers. So could you explain how this machine worked during the using of the? I think you are developing a kind of a park, cultural park for Busan. So what is the how it's how this facility can be used during the people's visiting? So
프로그램이 결합된 무인 모빌리티 운영이 가능해집니다. 이는 이제 기존에 여기 있던 지형적 여건을 극복하면서도 외부 인구 유입을 통해 침체됐던 원도심을 활성화시킬 수 있을 것입니다. 그리고 2050년에는 시간이 지나서 원도심은 기존에 노후화된 인구들이 새로운 인구들로 세대 교체 시기를 겪게 됩니다. 그래서 지역의 격차를 효과적으로 해소함에 따라서 모빌리티 역할과 수요는 점점 늘어나게 될 것입니다. 그래서 원도심의 새로운 세대들은 더욱 여기서 머물지 않고 더욱 넓은 지역으로 나아갈 수 있는 해상 모빌리티 등장, 여기에 해상 모빌리티가 생성되게 될 거고요. 그래서 이것의 등장으로 육지뿐만 아니라 해상으로도 나갈 수 있는 여건을 제공받게 됩니다. 그래서 육지에서 국한된 이동이 아닌 해상의 동선을 이끌어낼 수 있는 그런 역할을 기대하고 있습니다. 2050년에는. 그 다음에 2080년대는 수륙 양용 모빌리티 등장으로, 즉 바다에서 바다로 끝나는 게 아니라 바다에서 바로 육지로 갈 수 있는 어떤 모빌리티 등장으로 육지와 해상 간의 전이 공간이 매우 축소될 것입니다. 그래서
Recording in progress.
이렇게 축소된 빈 공간들을 역학적으로 활용하면서 이렇게 비게 되는 공간들을 나갔네. 교수님? 교수님? 내가 들으면서 느꼈거든. 그 기후 얘기 나올 때 왜 기후를 우리가 수정하기 생각해야 되는지 앞에 하나도 안 나오고 갑자기 이거 뭐지 얘기하다가 그럼으로써 근데 여기서 말했었는데 내가 시간이 지났다가 환경 변화에 적응한 시스템을 만들어 북한의 미래 비전 제시하고 교수님? 내 카톡 봐야 돼.
Okay.
Port is a place that has an international character and can promote our culture around the world.
Okay. Culture, school. Okay.
Then next is the bubble diagram. The current non-operating railway route was extended to allow for free access to other buildings. It has designed amenities, leisure sports, and guest house closest to the road. Next, this located at the bottom has a dormitory for students, which is linked to a water bus that will be located next to them. Next, on the other side of the walkway, there is a space where residents and tourists share culture with each other.
Okay.
And we have deployed programs to make the most of the buildings on the site. The first place is Busan Customs used to be. This is the best location to access by public transportation on the site, and it is close to the main street. Therefore, a guest house and leisure sports center were located here for tourists. The second is student dormitory, and this is where the container will be used as a unit in the dormitory. The third is next to the exciting
수륙 양용 모빌리티 등장으로 기존에 있던 모빌리티 시설들이 축소가 되면서
그거 전에 전전에 다시 갈 수 있을까요?
여기요?
이거 전 25년 그때 멈춘 것 같아요.
아 진짜요?
예.
그러면은 네 그래서 원도심의 어떤 문화와 어떤 격차를 줄이기 위해서 저희는 어떻게 줄일 것이냐고 봤을 때 숙박시설, 기존에 저희 원도심에 많이 있는 숙박시설을 이
Recording in progress.
북한 재개발로 인해 온 외부 사람들을 저기 숙박시설과 연계시키기 위해서 처음에는 모빌리티를 사용하게 되는 그런 게 있었고요. 그 다음에 25년에는 이렇게 그 유인 모빌리티 아직은 기술에 완전한 적응이 안 됐기 때문에 유인 모빌리티로서 이렇게 활용을 하게 되고 어떻게 하면은 이 사람들을 여기 북한에 있던 사람이 이쪽을 설득시킬 수 있을까 해서 여기 어떤 이제 물의 공원이라는 시스템을 넣어서 이쪽으로 유인한 다음에 이쪽으로 퍼뜨리는 네, 그런 생각을 하고 있고요. 그다음에 2030년에는 무인 모빌리티가 개발되면서 그 유인에서 무인으로 된 만큼 어떤 커뮤니티적 요소, 그러니까 예술, 도서와 같은 여러 프로그램들이 병합된 어떤 모빌리티가 등장되면서 특히 원도심이 기존보다 더 발전된 모습을 기대할 수 있었습니다. 네, 그리고 2050년에는 해상 모빌리티가 본격적으로 도입이 되면서
이거 전체 화면 가능해요? 근데 글자가 안 보이네.
잠시만요. 보이시나요?
계속해요. 그 빨간 박스 주차 시설 그 밑에가 뭐죠? 그 제일
해상 모빌리티 플랫폼입니다.
그거만 잠깐만 줌인 한 번만 해줘요. 지금 컬서 있는데. 그다음에 반대쪽에는 뭐가 있죠? 왼쪽으로는.
여기는 지금 기존 모빌리티 플랫폼이 계속 있는
아,
Lower.
Yeah.
So what do you think about preserving this warehouse?
I would preserve the warehouse because it has the history. Is it very old?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it have the history of Korea in that warehouse? A little bit? Is it for fishing? Was it for fishing?
No.
No.
This site was
Recording in progress.
Go ahead.
창고가 뭐 하는 용도?
This site was biggest of Busan port,
Yep.
and this is used of port
cargo.
port warehouse.
For cargo. For warehouse and cargo. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would
So-
maybe you keep it and then you build from the warehouse to the water. That's where you build. And you build a little bit. I wish we could draw. You can build around I don't have my pen here, but you keep the warehouse and you build in front of the warehouse to the water. And that's where you put your landmark. And then the warehouse is sort of connected to the project. I think that's what I would do. Keep the old building because it has history to it, and make into cultural center. But I think you make landmark, its cultural center, its park. It might be. Think of do you know Snøhetta in Oslo, Norway? Oslo, the building in Oslo,
Oslo.
OSLO.
Oslo in the building.
Yeah, Oslo, and
Yes.
it's the Opera House.
Yes.
오슬로.
Do you know that one?
Yes.
Yes. See that kind of building. They wanted landmark for the harbor, just like
Recording stopped.
Sydney. Just like Sydney, Australia wanted their opera house for landmark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's also a good modern example of that. Yeah.
Very similar with
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. And it's also sloping. It slopes down to the water.
Yeah. 맞네.
And maybe you
그것도
bring
Mm.
water a little bit into the site, right?
Yeah.
I know the water's probably like a harbor. It's not so nice. Another project to see for Boston is ICA, Boston Institute of Contemporary Art by Diller Scafidio, ICA, Boston. You see that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when you go inside, you can look down to the water. See? So you connect with your building, the people to the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me? I can write up something and give you my written commentary if you want me to. I did that for the class yesterday.
저 못 이길 것 같아요. 그러니까 어느 정도 그 역사성을 간직하는 부분은 남겨두지만은 새로 재해석될 수 있는 부분은 새로운 프로그램을 위해서 다시 고려될 만하죠. 그거는 이렇게 다시 띄어내고 뭔가 새로 만든다는 어떤 그런 거를 생각해 볼 만한 것 같아요. 뭐 그렇게 하면 결국은 물이 안쪽으로 들어오는 게 되잖아요. 그러면 그쪽 프로그램 디벨로프먼트를 하는
Recording in
데 있어서
progress.
훨씬 더 강하지 않을까 그런 생각이 듭니다.
왜 빼앗는지 생각을 못해. 그러니까 그건 당연히 안 되겠지.
예, 왜냐하면 여기서 원하는 거는 그 theme 같은 거 보면은 the fresh idea, the kind of fresh idea to rethinking about the Pier 1 or how to revitalize Pier 1. 그리고 그 surrounding context가 계속 변하고 있으니까 그 오페라 하우스, the newly opened the opera house that will be open in December 2022, and Busan Station was renovated, right? The Plaza Park is also renovated. The Yeongdo is also rising, right? So I think this is a complex kind of situation. And there's also body of water as well. So how you actually rethinking about Pier 1 with the strong historical background behind it, but how you redesign it. So I think you can get out from the box. If there need to be a water coming in, yes, water coming in. If there need to be a new bridge that connecting Yeongdo or the opera house that is going to come, or not only the bridge that go over to the water, but another bridge that actually directly connecting to the Wondoshim area, if there need to be as a pedestrian bridge, then I think you can actually think about many different things. You have a great idea about how to dealing with the complex system as a modular strategy. But how that modular strategy to do for what is a little questionable. Right? And then if I were you, even that modular design will bring the water as some kind of element very aggressively, right? The residents, I mean,
Recording stopped.
This resident and the modular design, it has to be special. Why is there? Right?
Camping,
Then
party,
Recording in progress.
flea market, and practice room like that. Yeah, so people can enjoy their modules and use there. And the
nature of the latest program depends on people's choice.
people can choose the what use. The modules program depends on people's choice, like that. So okay.
Yes.
And how about fishing practice? So, because in your introduction about the sea, you talk about the fishing activity and how the fishing activity, how much it's important the fishing activity in Busan. So, And what do you mean as fishing grounds, and which are these the activities you insert in your program about fishing?
실은 어떻게 하는 것 같은데 그거에 대한 좀 차차이
A container box is on
부분 정도
on the slab, so not
particularly open and fishing 그 컨테이너 모듈.
Okay, so imagining the new building, a new fragmented building.
Recording stopped.
We should think something. You should think something in the void. You should insert, for example, fishing activity or fishing farms.
Recording in progress.
그리고 저번 어제 크리틱에서 교수님께서
Recording in
말씀해
progress.
주셨던 게 있는데 그거 잠시 보여드려도 될까요?
예.
이런 식으로 수직성을 강조해서 뭔가 얇고 길쭉하게 세운 다음에 그것들을 이제 브릿지로 연결을 하고, 그리고 저희가 수영장을 하면은 그 수영장이 좀 실내에 있는데 바다랑 맞닿아 있다는 게 좀 새로울 것 같다고 하셔서, 그래서 스티븐홀의 작품을 그때 추천을 해주셨었는데 뭔가 이러한 느낌으로 해주셨으면 좋겠다고 말씀을 해주셨었거든요. 그래서 뭔가 이런 것들을 반영을 해서 저희가 디자인을 새로 이번에 모듈을 가지고 이러한 방향성으로 디자인을 했었어요.
괜찮아. 예, 좋아요, 그건. 예. 어떤 면에서 이런 거는 디렉션이 폼인 것 같아요. 그 폼을 어떻게 만들어 나갈지가 있지만은 또 그게
Recording
아니고
stopped.
그 전에 kind of how we set up our intention, design intention, or how we establish our design concept.
Stitching everything together. So again,
Recording in progress.
it really kind of looks like a patchwork that could be a really nice reference back to the traditional material that you're talking about, but it's a way of kind of connecting this space and turning it into really, I think, interesting and friendly pedestrianized zone.
Recording in progress.
So like bridge or like skywalks.
I think there's different elements. I would try and think about how many different functions you could accommodate as kind of public space between these buildings through this language of the patchwork, because I think that would work. It would be really appropriate to the idea of bringing together multiple different pieces of fabric in a way that you would do the same thing with spaces and functions that I think could be a really powerful method for joining all of these things together.
Yes, I understand.
Do you have some examples of that in your own on your own screen that you're looking at?
So I should looking some another the reference about your teacher's document. So I'm so sorry. I'm really thinking about your opinion and your some ideas. Should try to another connection.
Yeah. So what are these references that you have?
Yes, it's all in Korean.
Yeah.
And
so is that?
Yes. Sorry.
Recording stopped.
Is that is this something that you also want to kind of approach as well?
Maybe recording in progress.
Okay. You have what they have in Boston along their waterfront in the Fort Point Channel. They have this public walkway, right? So you could even, if there's road there, you could just have like a boardwalk that's over the water. So it's like a public right of way. Does that, so like you could show this, that you've introducing like a public right of way or a public boardwalk. And then again, yours starts to kind of be a continuous decking and starts to undulate out over it. Another, so the project I'm thinking about actually is, project I'm thinking of is where the ICA is in Boston, which is the Institute for Contemporary Art. And it's the boardwalk along the water. Why don't you look that up? That's the Institute for Contemporary Art by Diller Skip Video. Does someone want to look that up just quickly, and I'll show you what I'm talking about? Okay. Do you see what? Do you want to share it on the screen?
Okay.
Recording stopped.
So this is I think a lot of abilities.
Recording in progress.
I mean, it has
possible in this way.
Yeah, maybe go to the outside shots. That I'm really thinking about there's boardwalk.
I can maybe if you send me your email address, maybe I can find two projects which are in my mind. The first one is something like a artificial island designed by Jean Nouvel, and the second one would be this startup in Copenhagen. I have to find who was behind it, how it looks like, and I can send you the links if you like.
Yeah. You send my email to your email?
I sent to you in a chat my email address. So just respond to this. Just send me your address, maybe over email, the better, and then I can send to you a link to the right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for
Okay. I will keep my fingers crossed. Okay. Take care. Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Recording stopped.
You have the domes.
Recording in progress.
So maybe instead of that, you do the water, and then maybe you have the pier again. But maybe the pier already doesn't have to be straight, but can also be going up and down.
Yes.
Like, I don't know, just thinking, right? So, and then maybe instead of these ones, you can perhaps do this almost like a layer, like something like this. You know, so that the pier, so that these faces, they could be in the pier itself. So it's one element. The pier kind of like it's, you know, it's opens up, makes a space, and then goes down again. Instead of like pier and then just like a separate element on top of it. So just make it more one. It can look very similar to your domes. It can be very, very similar, but just connected, right?
Yes.
Here maybe becomes connected domes.
Recording stopped.
One.
Recording in
This section one is
progress.
so maybe the shape of the building. But this is section B. Could you sorry this one? Could you see?
Yeah.
Section B.
Yeah.
This is Jakarta, the big village, to the downtown, the Pier 1, and maybe the high skyscraper apartment.
Yeah.
High apartment and opera house apartment and the container site.
Yeah.
This is the section B.
Yep.
Orange line. This is the hint for when you decided this section, the function. This is, you can use this one. Also, you already analysis about the Busan city land use. This is also effective. Could you understand? Not only this one, you analysis about the map, about the land use in Busan. It is really good. And more, this one is really helpful for you. So, and I like under how do you think you tried to expand the railway line to the Pier 1? This idea, how do you deal?
How to deal?
How to arrange it?
Okay. Our concept. This please. Someone have to display, please. Okay. Our concept sketch. We ready our concept sketch.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Continue, please.
For example, this land, we cutting this line and waiver the land. So our important point is waiver land and inside water and just stop land, no stop land, no stop side is 생동감 넘치는 움직이는 activity make
Recording stopped.
make activity land.
Okay.
With natural purity
Recording in progress.
functions through planting, mediate plants, and create an outdoor exhibition. Okay.
We don't not speaking English well, so you very.
Is that possible that? Do you think it is possible that you do not just have one separate and a small wetland? Do you think it is possible that your wetland is still combined with your containers plants? My meaning is that my idea is that you just combine these two thinking as a one big thinking, because you separated these as a two part, I think the space is quite limited. You can just have this
Public.
wetland.
Recording in progress.
Do you think that you can have the wetland
Public education, public transportation.
Recording in progress.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one shape with living, and this is your idea, the containers. Tower
Yeah.
with the containers, right? Towers of containers, many towers, many. Many towers, many. And then they go in the boat. Containers of life, housing. Very good.
Okay.
Together, moving. What do you think?
It's good. Very good.
What? So the education is about changing landscape, changing nature, changing. Okay. So nature changing. Okay. Oceans change.
Recording stopped.
Ocean shows us. Change.
어떤 뭐 운송
Recording in
방식을
progress.
제한할 수도 있는 거고, 뭐 여기에 사람들이 다닐 때 뭐 자전거로 다니느냐, 뭐 스트리트카로 다니는 거, 자동차로 다니는 거, 그 모빌리티 자체를 다루려면 모빌리티 자체를 뭔가 원활하게 허브처럼 뭐 수상도 있고 뭐 육지도 있고 걷는 것도 있고 이 모든 게 다 원활하게 되는데 그게 그 다음 단계에서 개념 다음에서 정의가 돼야 되고 그다음에 그 허브 자체에서 세 번째 하위 개념이 이제 거기서 뻗어 나가서 이제 그 사이트 지금 다루고 있는 사이트가 그 사이트로 이렇게 연결된다는 거죠. 약간 세 개를 이렇게 북한하고 원도심하고 사이트하고 이런 식으로 뭔가 제스처가 형태적으로가 아니라 개념적으로 돼야 되지 않나 라는 생각이 들어요. 그래야지 자연스럽게 넘어갈 것 같아요. 왜냐면 지금은 없잖아요. 지붕 말고는 지금 그래서 그게 핵심이 돼야 되고 거기에 대부분의 기능이 담겨져 있어야 될 것 같아요. 건물이 뚝 떨어져서 사이트로 가는 게 아니라 거기가 허브가 되고 그 다음에 나머지는 거기서 이제 그 물의 정원까지 어떤 식으로 가느냐, 물의 정원의 역할이 무엇인가 하면서 디벨롭을 진행을 해야 될 것 같아요. 그게 일단 그 앞으로 진행하면서 그 부분이 약간 좀 신경을 써야 될 것 같아요. 개념 자체. 모빌리티 플랫폼이 모빌리티 허브가 된다면 그 모빌리티를 이루게 원활하게 하기 위해서 뭘 해주는가. 그게 운송 수단뿐만이 아니라 뭐 기능적으로 허브가
Recording in progress.
하는가. 약간 역세권처럼 디벨롭이 돼서 사람들이 여기를 거치면서 뭔가 한다거나 아니면 어떤 양쪽 북한 쪽하고 그 원도심에서 이동하면서 필요한 것들이 프로그램이 있다거나 아니면 약간의 그 하이브리드한 것들을 약간 집어넣으면서 연속성을 가지게 할 수도 있고 뭐 다양한 방법들이 있는데 그런 것들을 담아주면 될 것 같아요. 그게 그 다음 지금 시간이 많이 안 남았으니까 계속 얘기를 할게요. 그 다음에 지금 굉장히 마음에 드는 부분이 이제 페이징을 했잖아요. 스테이징을 25년, 뭐 50년, 뭐 쭉쭉쭉 갔는데 일단은 너무 많은 것 같고 단계가 너무 좀
Recording in
비슷비슷해요. 조금 더
progress.
심플하게 간단하게 이해되기 쉽게 하면서 형태가 마음에 들긴 한데 약간 뭐라 그래야 되지? 전략 자체가 형태적인 전략 자체가 이 그 확장을 하기에 좀 불리하지 않나. 이 뭔가 형태가 굉장히 스페시픽 해가지고 이거를 만들어 놓은 다음에 앞으로 확장하는 그 방식이 좀 쉽지는 않은 것 같아요. 그래서 그것도 어느 정도 제안을 해주는 것 같아요. 이게 뭐 지붕을 뭐 그 단계별로 짓는다든지 뭔가 이게 완전히 모듈은 될 필요는
Recording in
없지만
progress.
이게 확장하면서 이 지붕 그 형태가 어떤 식으로 확장되어 어떤 식으로 이렇게 시간에 따라서 쭉 만들어질 수 있는지에 대한
저희 끝났습니다.
아이디어를 조금 더 가미를 했으면 좋겠어요. 그래서 그게 그러니까 이 페이징을 보면서 어떤 확장성이라든지 뭐 플렉시빌리티라든지 뭐 이런 것들이 많이 이야기를 나누는데 형태 자체는 만들어 놓은
Recording in
거는 오리지널이기
progress.
때문에 더 이상 확장하기도
Yeah,
힘들고 좀
I
내부
have
공간에서
your
변할
email
수도 있지만
address,
그런 면에서 어느
so
정도
I can send you the comments as well.
조금 더 아쉽지 않나라는
Thank
생각이
you.
들긴
Thank
들어요.
you so
그런
much. I try
부분에서
to include
이제 계획이랑 맞으려면
the
형태도
pictures as well, but
여기에 나아가서 어떤 식으로 그
difficult.
형태들을 만들어
Have a look
놓는가
at this
지붕도
text
확장되고
by Stan Allen. It's a very, very interesting text
Recording in
from
progress.
object to fields. The one link that I showed you before, that I sent you. I'll write the email. Yeah.
Recording stopped.
The C line
Recording in progress.
coded as the time. Okay, very good. It's maybe not only for activities. I guess maybe the park just taking a rest for park to watch the sea or to get to be the relax. This park is connected to this kind of change sea level. This is good. For example, the pedestrian deck, one of the pedestrian deck to reach to the sea, and this line is sometimes here, sometimes here. You mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very interesting.
Here and here.
Yeah.
In time here, some children. 여기 있을 때 the low tree, low children,
low
adults swimming pool, for example.
It's good.
Thank you.
It's good.
Thank you.
Or not only for activities, changing the sea level means the make the botanical or some kind of the botanical the plants or the sea plants botanical. So not only biotope. Biotope means the biotope. Do you know biotope? Biotope. Do you know biotope? I mean the botanical site.
이거 식물.
야야야 소유하니까 빠르네.
발음에.
Yeah, right. ちょっと待って。
Wait a minute, ちょっと待って。
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
그
Recording in progress. Recording in progress. Recording stopped.
I have a
Recording in
question.
progress.
Organizer. I think somebody just came in from the committee, right?
Yeah, I think so. There's
Yeah.
50.
Okay. Should we share the screen?
For sure, yeah. Go for it.
We didn't ask how are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm here. I'm in the States, so this is 8 in the morning, so a little early, but it's okay. And you guys in Vienna?
No, actually, we're all three of us are in the.
Oh, I am in Vienna. I am in Vienna.
Okay, yeah.
So you guys
yeah,
in everywhere.
We're separated in three different countries.
3 different countries.
Good. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. Is it full screen or is it like a?
It's
I can see the frame, but that's fine. Let's just move on.
Okay. So first of all, yesterday we were also mentioning to another professor that we wanted to connect the tradition. We wanted to incorporate the traditional part of Korean architecture into our project somehow. And then we came across, of course, the hanok, traditional Korean. And what we saw first was the roof of the building, the roof of the house, and it made a big impression on us. So the first impression was the roof, the most noticeable part. And this is how we found our first form, so to say. So the first form of the roof was some type of, floating, let's say, structure. And then we were thinking about the topography and the relief of Busan and the surrounding areas. And we were, we were never there. So we were looking at the satellite photos and we saw that all around Busan, there are mountains, so hills, and they are surrounded by the city. And they looked like green islands to us. So that was interesting for us and our understanding of the topography there. And we wanted to incorporate also that into our form of the roof. Then from the first presentation, we saw that two panoramas photos were also interesting to us. So this is like a old village photo and the topography of the houses there, also the roofs there. That was also interesting to us, and we wanted to also inspire. It inspired us somehow to move on with our type of roof. So the roof reliefs, as you can see, like all across, not really. There's not a structure there. No structure there. There's just like all around there are roofs. And also, this is a small sketch that we made of the nature in the city, or the hills around the Busan. And then we decided to do the roof.
Recording stopped.
Plus nature hill. So the roofs look like this, and the hills look like this, and then we
我
came.
们这2条轴向去诠释这个场地和城市的关系。
Recording in progress.
我们针对于釜山大桥这一块做的还是一个室外的一个广场设计，一个线性的围合，然后剩下的那几个部分就是用这种草坡的形式去穿起来一个群体，然后其中做一些高交叉，然后形成一些市民的一个活动的看台和平台。然后我们当时觉得就是说整个场地的话还是欠缺的一些希望能再突出一些有些醒目的点。 然后包括这些剧院，其实这也是一个剧场，这也是个剧场，这是一个室外的剧场，这是一个室内剧场，这是一个室外的展览。我们希望能更突出一些。现在这是我们的一个目前的一个整体的实际的效果。
对，我刚才提到印象西湖了，因为我也是来自杭州，然后对这个也看过一场，然后确实非常印象深刻。那么。 你们的想法是有5幕是吧？然后是有一部分是室外的一个剧场，有一部分是室内的，是这样吗？
不是的，我们的5幕都是在室外，但是它是有围合性的舞台，也有对外开放的舞台。比如这个最大的迎向海的这个舞台，它在演出的时候可能就会借到对面引岛上的景。 我们可能会在引导上去埋一些灯光，在特定的时候，这些灯光会打开，会闪耀，结合我们的剧情，以及对面的一个大桥，以及釜山市周围的高楼，都有可能成为我们演出的背景。而我们的舞台是展现的是演出的一个近景。
哦，就是其实还是室外的一个舞台，然后会借到一些。 他们的这个大桥，然后一些其他的天际线作为一个背景，对吧？
是的，是的，
那这5幕的话，是相当于要在一个场里面完成的，对吧？就是你们考虑就是这样一幕演出下来会多少时间呢？
是这样的，就是游客他进入咱们的场地之后，会先经过第1个剧院，然后第1个剧场演完第1幕的时候，他们会出来，然后行走到。 第2幕，然后再演出完，再到第3幕，因为每一幕都有特定给他搭的景，所以观众是要看完一幕要走出来的，再前往下一个。对，
可能每幕半个小时，5个章节就可能3个小时左右，它可能就是差不多周末1个晚上就可以结束的这种程度的。
那比如说这个观众人数大概是？ 有多少？你们有没有计算过？
我觉得没有太大计算，因为它这个场地有
Now, the passing of time.
Recording in progress.
Passing of time to the past. Okay. The past here, but also
recording in progress.
The future here. And oceans rise, future, past. This is past. Okay. So, these lines. This is 1900, 1920. And this is the present. This is the present. And then this is the future. The future is this. This line will keep going. The ocean is not stable, not static. It keeps rising. Okay? You see?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do we use this? Is a pedagogical
past? 1 second.
Past.
Okay.
And future. Up. Past. Down. how do we use it? How do we use it? Is this
past maybe just a park, and it maybe will merge in the sea in the future. And the future maybe something like museum and other things. Who knows?
I think you can do two things. You can live. This could be living, okay, and then you can study. You can study the changing.
Recording stopped.
You can study the changing shore. Okay, living and studying. So living.
Recording in progress.
Living.
Picture. You sketch of Pier 1. Please show me your sketch of Pier 1.
Oh, do you see ours? Oh, this sketch?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this one. This is also very interesting. So now you're planning. Maybe this main function is the oyster farm, but the second function for people, or is it like a park?
Yeah, we want it to be a park. Yeah, it would be a park, but they would have to walk across the bridge to experience it. So this would be a park. So this is actually the existing structure on the site. We're repurposing this building here to be a museum. So that will inform all the tourists of all about this oyster hub facility here and the entire why it's important and why it's good for the environment.
Okay, now you deck, pedestrian deck, from the maybe the section pedestrian deck making the wave from the section. Could you sorry. From the ground line to the a little bit 2 or 3 meters, they're going up and down, isn't it? Yeah. So when you decide the line, wave line from the at the section, so please reference of the this one. Could you? Oh, sorry. Could you see this? Sorry, could you see this map? Sorry, my easy picture. This is Busan Tower. It's a mountainside, and the Busan Station. Oh, sorry, Busan Station. This is Pier 1.
Wait, sorry, one second.
Pier 1, mountainside. Oh, this is the Busan Station. Yondo Island. Could you understand this map?
Yeah.
Sorry. And this is line A, pink line.
Right.
This is line A. If you see this side, line A like this, the sea level and Pier 1 and the new downtown and downtown, the Busan Tower and all the new downtown. And if you maybe pedestrian way making this kind of wave line from the section.
Wait, sorry, we cut out. We cut out for like 30 seconds. Hold on.
You pedestrian.
Recording stopped.
Okay. This part. So please arrange the arrange.
Not do it. I'm saying that if you're doing it, make sure it's convincing.
Recording in progress.
Right? And people don't question why do you need that strip, right? So make sure you get that. another aspect is the market is I think makes sense, a lot of sense. It's public. But the school, right? Like I think this is a very important site, right? This is a very prominent site, one of the most important like kind of areas for Busan. And you're proposing a college, which is fine, right? But is that public enough? It's a question. Is that public? Like, if you made that, if you scatter around these residential, like the little tiny schools and living areas and stuff like that, in my mind, it looks too private. Like you wouldn't have people, like all sorts of people, maybe you do, come to a university or college and then comfortably enjoy that. Maybe not. Maybe it's more like compared to a waterfront park. Would you call that public? I feel like it's less public and or less civic. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, you're allocating valuable public land to a university rather than the entire city, right? That's the feeling I'm getting, right? And I'm not saying to not do it, but is there a way, right? Like you're not using a lot of these spaces, right? Like this is just huge.
Recording stopped.
Little scatterburn. Can you actually create kind of like what you're doing with the market? Like I feel
Gate,
like even like
East
this
Gate,
area,
North Gate,
like
West
this
Gate.
area.
Recording in progress.
And it was very important to pick up the axial arrangements based on the sun. So this is a traditional aspect of Korea. The second thing that I would like you to think about is, first of all, tide. The water goes up and down quite a bit. So that maybe there's aspects of the tide when it's high can come into your site, and when it's low, it goes back out, something like that, right? The other thing that to think about is global warming. In 50 years, the water will be 10 meters higher. So that's something to think about your buildings. Now, maybe the piers are high enough and they're okay, but there might be something that you think about. The next thing that because I really like your urban design, but there needs to be something a little bit more that talks about the buildings three-dimensionally, right? We know the marketplace and the old warehouse, right? But I think you talked about the spiral building. Is it going to spiral up, right? Is that what your plan was? So it needs three-dimensional. And I would recommend that you look at two projects. One is in Oslo, Norway. Maybe you want to bring up on the screen if you want to share the screen. And it's by Snøhetta, SNOTTA, and it's the Opera House in Oslo, Norway. Because I think when you spoke about the cultural center and the sloped spaces, this might give you some ideas. And it's in Oslo, OLSO, Oslo, Norway, Opera Center, or Opera Hall, or whatever, something. And see if we can find the image. There it is. That is their major cultural center. And Busan needs this kind of structure. And it was an opera house, but everybody goes there. And it has changed the city. just like Sydney Opera House changed Sydney, Australia. Because people can now engage with the water. Now, to me, it looks a little bit dangerous, but somehow, especially Oslo, it's winter time. The water, it would freeze. You could slide into the water, but maybe it's made safe in some way. But I think this is a project you could look at. But this is a little bit big. You know, it's a little larger, but it's still very, very provocative. So this is something that you could study.
Recording stopped.
As a case study. The second project is in Boston, my home. Well, I was born in Canada, but I work
Recording in progress.
and it's the ICA,
230.
so Boston, USA, ICA building.
So it's the portion of your whole Pier 1, right?
So this is the whole Pier 1, and this is our roofed area. So this is 230, and this is 150.
I see.
Yeah.
It's
not the whole part. You can use the whole pier. Yeah.
In my point of view, this is just design kind of suggestion. Instead of especially the one projecting to the seaside, I think the width has to be the total of the lifted roof condition. Because you limit from the 200 to 150, right? There's a certain portion which doesn't have the, let's say, the second ground or the roof condition. That will demise, that will kind of bring down your strong conceptual ideas. Because first couple of sketches that you're talking about your eye level, clarity, although there is a columns, right? So if you imagine that kind of sketches that you guys did at the beginning, if I would suggest instead of 200, instead of 150, 200, the whole thing in the front. And then later, when you're going into the lengthwise, yes, you can do 230 or
Recording stopped.
it may be depending on, and then I think you also
说就是一个平地台阶式的，人们可以现在坐一会儿就可以站起来，
Recording in progress.
行走式的，不给他一个特定的演出位置或者观看位置，是这样的。
Recording in progress.
应该也 OK。对，我感觉就是其实可能要在这个平面的这个布局上更加考虑到可能现实的一个就是现在的一个机理或者怎么样，能够把它融入到你们的新的设计当中去。其他我觉得这个舞台剧的这个设想是非常让人耳目一新的一个设想。那你们还有1天的时间可以就是再深入，可能这个平面的这个过程上，可能我觉得不一定要再细化了，只不过可能是要稍微调整一下，怎么样能够更加把现在的这个历史的一些元素能够让它展现出来，而不是去新的去打造一个这个功能的布局，可能就是要把你们舞台和现有的一些东西结合在一起，作为你们这个平面的这个设计的一个基础。另外的话就是怎么样把这个流线，然后疏散这些可能会有一些标注出来，然后有一些分析。
Recording in progress.
比如说是平时或者是演出的时候，可能会有不同的流线的考虑啊，什么都可以。
The pier is the past and the future together. Past and future together. So
Recording in progress.
we can see it. We can see it here. Yeah, here. moving in these islands, many more islands. So many more as you draw them, right? Then they go here, 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 and then they might have cranes with people, containers, people living, studying in the island, right? Changing. And you might have boats connecting. Boats connecting. What do you think? What do you think?
In former, we always think about when we want to go to a place, maybe we are walking or driving, and you sell us the idea of by boating in the future. The boats in the future. We never saw that, but it is very good.
So in one more example, okay, in the Indian steppe. Okay. Oh, 1 second. Share screen. Okay. Here in the Indian steppe wells. Do you know these? Indian steppe wells.
Oh yes.
Yeah. The water comes up and down. Water. Yeah. So yeah, the water is not stable. The water changes. Water changes. Water changes. So in your structure, the water changes. And you can grow.
Recording stopped.
You can grow vegetation, yeah? You could grow, you could be...
Recording in progress. Recording in progress.
Syracuse people have any like walking routes? No, it's fine. Just yeah.
Is why
Oh yeah, wait, one thing we did forget to say, but we added in the pictures, we're thinking of adding seaweed because apparently seaweed works better.
Now I sent you.
Okay.
Now I sent you, but everyone. Ooh.
Recording stopped.
That's very
Recording
spicy.
in progress.
The pickled cabbage is very spicy, and
Did you
I think there are like five or 600 varieties of it. So it's the same as the cooking is also, and every part of Korea has its own kind of cooking, just like India.
A little bit wait.
So
My
they are very
Wi-Fi is
rich
a little-
culture, and they will like this kind of thing. Also, I think with your scheme,
Recording
it's
in
also
progress.
very doable. It's not a lot of money, not millions upon millions of dollars to build a big, huge tower or something, right? Your scheme, and also your scheme helps the city a great deal.
Yes.
Other questions?
Yes. So we were having doubts about the report that we have to submit tomorrow.
Yep.
So does it have to include, like, what kind of content has to be included in that?
Well, yours is urban design, so I would have you have strong sketches. And plan, they're very strong, but they're not strong as you need some three-dimensional drawings that show the height, like, you know, this spiral building, right? You should show that. You should show the cultural center. You need something, and then you need a strong narrative. The narrative, what is written, because how you explained it to me is very good, very eloquent. And I would make 3 very strong paragraphs about your ideas of the beginning, the axial, the urban design, the open spaces, the uses, and how this will work for the city.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And one thing is about, like, should whole area we have to concentrate on COVID responsive, or like,
Yeah.
is it? So yeah.
Well, the thing that I think is the strength in your COVID response is that you have open spaces. And we know now, even with the Delta variant in United States, the chances of getting it outside is very minimal. But getting it with inside, you can get the disease. So I think having open spaces is your strength in your scheme. And that we can socially distance. You know, I used to take the subway to, I still teach from the school, even though our school is closed. And I walk to school. I used to take the
Recording
bus.
stopped.
I used to take the bus and the train, but now I walk. But it's actually better for me.
Yeah.
Because I walk.
Recording in progress.
We could see, I could show you this.
And so I've learned about the city,
And
and cities should be much
museum
more
of
green, they should
modern
be much
art,
more walkable.
Waterlands.
We need to make our cities cleaner. When I see pictures of Delhi and Mumbai and Shanghai, where I used to live a little bit, and Beijing, and Seoul, you know, they're so, Los Angeles, they're so polluted. We should make our cities that we can walk in.
Rising
technology,
currents.
very
Okay.
strong urban.
MoMA, rising currents.
Recording in progress.
Water, rising currents. Rising currents. Rising currents.
Images.
Rising options for this idea of dissolving. Landscapes.
Recording stopped.
This is interesting. MoMA, Museum of Modern Art. Museum of Modern
Or clear possibilities
Recording in progress.
that help you, right?
I can put on the,
I'm gonna start sharing.
I can put it on the chat.
Not sharing.
Rising currents. Rising current.
And I really like the idea about the green roof, right? So
Recording in progress.
it's a roof line, and then also the line actually from the formation of the roof came from the topographical condition of the Busan, like these mountains, right? The top is green. So I like the roof mostly become artificial landscape. But I think the what I keep calling the ground, which is in between roof and the pier, right? That area, some could be also green as well, especially where is the penetration is happening, right? So it's reconnecting above ground and then later on below, which is the water.
Okay.
Did I help you?
I think it's a lot. Yes, a lot. You girls have some questions, or?
I think no, it was really very helpful.
It's really, really helpful. Yeah, thank you.
Great. 24 hours, right?
Yes. And we have no presentation. Then, but just submission.
Not sure. I think you guys submitting on 20-page proposal or more.
For tomorrow.
Tomorrow, and then 7 days later, the other submissions.
Yes.
I think you guys are ready to actually consolidate, make it stronger, your conceptual ideas, and your later drawings start to connecting that ideas more clearly, right? I like your starting point. Oh, I was going to say one more thing. Let me just share again, right? Share my screen.
Recording stopped.
Your architectural execution and idea is great.
Different small parts in small.
Recording in progress.
Right? You observe the ocean. The ocean changes. Ocean is in constant change. So only not like metabolism big, but only in small parts. But many parts. Many parts, not just one or two.
This is the site, right?
Yeah.
Can you see my cursor, right? That's the site. And this is the Yeongdo
Recording in progress.
And then this is the Yeongdo Mountain when the day before yesterday, the professor was presenting this mountain and then old city and then this pier. But when we're looking at this skylight image of last year, 2020, this part dramatically changed. Can you see the difference? This and that, right?
Yeah.
So there will be an opera house in here in 2022 December completion. And then your site is right. So please do consider a little bit north and then west side. There will be a huge cultural complex will be coming. So how to reconnect to the surrounding context, right? It's not like this, right? In later on, there will be a opera house is coming very closely, right? So maybe in an elevated roof, the green space from there, you might have some idea where to look for, right? It's not only the seaside, not only the island side, but actually a little bit behind, right? There's an opera house over there. So it will help you design in that elevated roof line where people are pushing and pulling, and then how the roof line forms it in a way. People wandering around and also having a different kind of view, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the. I'm glad I remember that.
It was a lot. I think now we're
Recording stopped.
having more ideas and know the direction we should go in, because we were stuck.
Recording in progress.
What should we do now?
Yeah.
And
So
it's really,
here,
to make it.
there is a project. This project, Gia Wolf Floating Cities. Yeah.
Recording in progress.
Gia Wolf Floating Cities. Images. I guess floating cities. No. ESD. Yeah. A vision of floating cities. Yeah. Anyway. Sorry. Your floating cities is universal already. Floating cities.
And pencil way of making
Are
drawings.
universal.
It's kind of interesting, and you should do it like that.
Yes.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you,
And
sir.
best of everything. Okay. And if you want to email
Recording
me,
in progress.
Email
Yes,
me, and
sure.
then I can respond back to you. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye
This
bye.
was very helpful.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress. Recording in progress.
자, 이제 전체 크리틱 다 끝났습니다. 다들 수고하셨고요. 말씀드렸듯이 이제 하루 남았습니다. 마지막까지 조금 힘내주시기 바라고요. 그리고 마지막으로 공지 하나 더 드리겠습니다. 저희가 보내드린 스케줄에 따르면은 이제 한국 시간으로 내일 22시까지 여러분들은 결과물을 메일로 이제 건축자 앞으로 보내주시면 됩니다. 잊지 마시고 반드시 기간 맞춰서 제출해 주시기 바라고요. 그리고 2차 제출물은 한국 시간으로 8월 16일 22시까지입니다. 패널과 동영상을 제출해 주시고요. 그리고 이미 공지 나갔듯이 그 중에서 만약에 하나라도 제출물이 누락이 되면은 심사에서 제외가 됩니다. 그러니까 반드시 시간 내에 제출 부탁드리겠습니다. Okay, we are now finished with the whole critic sessions. You did all a good job, and as mentioned, there's only one day to go. This is the last announcement. According to our schedule we sent you, you have to send the result to us by mail by 22 hours tomorrow in Korea time. Don't forget to send it on time, and the second submission is until August 16th. And you need to submit a panel and short videos. Even if one submission is omitted, it will be excluded from award. So please submit your complete work within the time. 그리고 어제와 마찬가지로 이제 메인 컴퓨터를 저희가 한 번 더 재부팅을 해야 됩니다. 여러분들은 나가지 마시고 그대로 접속을 유지를 해주시면 되겠습니다. 자, 공지 한 번 더 드립니다. 스케줄 따르면은 이제 한국 시간으로 내일 22시까지 여러분들 결과물을 메일로 건축제에 보내주시면 됩니다. 잊지 마시고 반드시 시간 맞춰 제출해 주시기 바라고요. 그리고 2차 제출물은 한국 시간으로 8월 16일 22시까지입니다. 그러니까 패널과 동영상을 제출해 주셔야 되고 이 중에서 하나의 제출물이라도 누락이 된다면은 심사에서 제외가 되니까 반드시 여러분들 결과물 시간 내 제출 부탁드리겠습니다. We have an announcement. According to the schedule we sent you, you have to send the result to us by mail by 22 hours tomorrow in Korea time. Don't forget to send it on time, and the second submission is until August 16th. You need to submit a panel and short videos. Even if one submission is omitted, it will be excluded from award. So please submit your complete work within the time. 그리고 어제와 마찬가지로 이제 메인 컴퓨터를 재부팅하도록 하겠습니다. 여러분들께서는 그대로 접속을 유지를 해 주시면 되겠습니다. 자, 이것으로 이제 공식 일정은 마치도록 하겠습니다. And as yesterday, we will reboot the main computer. You just have to keep your connection. We are finished now the official schedule for today. I wish you good luck again and thank you.